Excalibur Hotel and Casino is almost always one of the cheapest options on the main Las Vegas Strip. But, do you get what you pay for? Today I'm going to try to answer just that. Growing up in the 90s, I remember seeing commercials for places like Circus Circus, New York, Luxor, and Excalibur, as at the time Vegas was trying to present a family-friendly image. Excalibur advertised one of the largest arcades in the world, and the playful medieval theme made it more than appealing to a kid who had no idea what Sin City was really about. My first experience with Vegas was in the year 2000 when my dad and stepmom got married there. At 11 years old, remembering the existence of Excalibur, I begged them to take me with them. This fell on deaf ears because who wants a bunch of kids running around Vegas when you're trying to elope? That became a large-scale sentiment as the family-friendly Vegas image faded to the adult-exclusive Sin City with the emphasis on luxury accommodations and upscale shopping that we see today. Excalibur's popularity declined along with that transition, but after scaling back the arcade, upgrading some of the offerings, and stripping away the children-friendly aesthetic, Excalibur was rebranded as a bargain location for young adults who wanted a nostalgic vibe with their budget Vegas vacation. Now, with resort fees and the overall upgrade to the Vegas experience, even Excalibur is far from cheap. During the week, you can see rates as low as $50 a night, but that climbs closer to $100 with everything factored in. On weekends, prices can easily quadruple. That said, in my research, Excalibur is almost always in the top 3 or 4 cheapest hotels on the main Las Vegas Strip, and I actually just stayed there for the first time 2 weeks ago. For my first category, let's talk about location. Excalibur is located on the south end of the Las Vegas Strip between New York, and Luxor. In my opinion, this is one of its worst features. Being so far down the strip makes it a trek to get even as far up as Center Strip, and it's definitely a full-on journey to places like Wynn or the new Resort World. It is attached nicely to Luxor and Mandalay Bay, expanding its offerings by more than double, but if it were even 1 or 2 positions closer to Center Strip, this score would be way higher. For location, Excalibur earns a 2 out of 5. Next, let's talk about the rooms themselves. This, unfortunately, is not Excalibur's saving grace. We stayed in a standard resort tower room, and while this is the absolute bottom of the barrel option, I was blown away by how dated and uninspired our room was. With a dingy aesthetic, decorations and furnishings straight out of 2006, and a lack of electrical outlets throughout, our experience with our Excalibur room left more to be desired. Not only were there a lack of outlets, many of them were too loose to hold our devices, so we resorted to charging our phones with battery packs. They also only put 1 pillow on each side of the bed. I don't know if this is because they knew only 2 people would be in the room, so we'd be able to steal the pillows from the second queen bed, but just be aware that for most people, requesting additional pillows will be a day 1 agenda bullet. For rooms, I give Excalibur a 1 out of 5. For our third category, let's talk about the staff. Because of how our flight worked out, we got to our hotel extremely early. We paid in advance for early check-in, but that's not promised until 11 a.m. When we approached the desk at 7:30 a.m., we expected to be laughed out of the room. The representative that helped us, whose name I didn't get because I was drooling on myself with exhaustion, was extremely nice and did everything she could to try to get us into a room. Nothing was available, but we were told that she'd keep looking, and she referred us to the bell desk to store our luggage. The bellhop was super friendly and funny as he marked our bags and told us to go have some fun while we waited for our room. We decided to have breakfast and hit up the lobby bar. The bartender was just as excellent as the other 2 encounters and didn't judge me for ordering a Jack and Coke at 8 in the morning. Man, I love Vegas. Our room was ready at about 10:30 and we had the option to pick up our bags or have them delivered to our room. Using bell services is a tried and true pro tip for those whose flights don't line up with check-in and check-out. Also, you don't even have to be staying at the hotel to use it. Just remember to tip. For staff, not every experience was perfect, but Excalibur earns an easy 4 out of 5. Next, let's talk about dining. The food offerings at Excalibur are pretty standard. Apart from Dick's, nothing stands out as overly unique. They do have 2 Starbucks locations, but note that 1 was closed. Check out our website, travelingwithtravis.com, for a list of all of Excalibur's food and drink offerings. I do think our experience with Luxor's buffet was better. I note this because it's right next door, but I will say that the flavors of Excalibur's buffet food were far better than I was expecting. With a full food court and buffet on the second level, and several options in the lower casino area, finding a dining location that suits you and your family shouldn't be an issue. But be aware that on weekdays, everything closes early, and one night we found ourselves eating sandwiches from the 24-hour convenience store. We also found that Excalibur lacks watering hole options compared to other places we've stayed. For dining, Excalibur gets a 3 out of 5. And lastly, let's discuss amenities. Excalibur has your basic Vegas hotel amenities and not much more. You will find a couple of shows, some shops and stores to browse through, and a whopping 4 pools to accommodate the large amount of guests this hotel can house. But note that some shows, stores, and shops were closed due to COVID, and you really won't find anything to write home about here. Also, we had some glitches with our MGM app, making the digital key difficult to rely on. Getting at least one physical key is something you might want to consider. For amenities, I give Excalibur a 2 out of 5. Even though it's a goal of mine, I haven't stayed everywhere on the Vegas trip. That said, I have stayed in multiple places along Las Vegas Boulevard, and I have to be honest when I say that Excalibur has been my least favorite hotel experience so far. It's great for those who are on a budget and just need a place to lay their head at night, but for me, this one was not a winner. Excalibur Hotel and Casino gets a Travi score of 2.4 out of 5. I don't want my opinion to discourage you, especially since many people find this hotel perfectly fine, but just know that there are better options out there for only a few dollars more per night.